I've been thinking about a lot lately about the people in my life, not just who's around, but who actually matters. Because there's a difference, a big one. There are people who know you, and there are people who are actually your friends. And I think a lot of people confuse the two. I know I did for a long time. And I feel like it cost me. It cost me energy, time, and honestly, it cost myself for a while. So I want to talk about it. How to tell the difference, how the wrong people can hold you back without even realizing it, and why not everyone deserves access to your life. So here's the difference between a real friend and someone who just knows you. Someone who knows you will say hi when it's convenient. And, sometimes they'll see you walking by and they won't even acknowledge you because they don't see a point. They don't think that they matter all that much to you. And honestly, you don't matter that much to them either. But a real friend, they'll go out of their way to greet you. They'll come find you because you matter to them more than whatever destination they're headed to at that moment. And more importantly, a real friend will reach out to you when you need it. They'll check on you, they'll ask you to hang out, and they'll want you to be around. Not just when it benefits them, but because they actually want you in their life. Someone who just knows you, they will only reach out when they need something, when it's convenient for them, or when you can do something for them. And that's not friendship. That's just proximity. I had someone in my life who I thought was a close friend, but looking back, they only ever reached out when they needed something, when they wanted a favor, or when they had a problem. And when I needed something as small as help with an assignment or even moving a piece of furniture, they were nowhere to be found. No response, no effort, nothing. And this happened over and over again to a point where I started to have to ask myself, am I doing something wrong? But I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just trying to be present for my friend. I was just trying to show up. But you can't be present when the other person doesn't want you present. You can't force someone to care about you the way you care about them. It took me over a year and a half to finally accept that this person wasn't really my friend. A year and a half of giving and getting nothing back. And the final straw was that he owed me $50 for something I had paid for. And instead of paying me back, he gave me clothes he stole from the mall, told me he was going to resell them. And when I asked for a receipt or any proof that he actually bought this, he couldn't give me anything. And that's when I knew that this just isn't somebody I can have in my life. And he wasn't the only one. There was another guy I kept close to me for way too long, and it was about money with him too. Always about what I could do for him. He would call me in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., to DoorDash him like contraceptives, things that he could have easily have ordered himself. I knew he had money. He had access to DoorDash, but he was calling me. And unfortunately, I gave in and ordered it for him. But eventually, I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? Why is this my responsibility? And why am I being used like this? And that took me even longer. It took me over 2 years to finally wake up and realize I couldn't have someone like him in my life anymore. And so I told him. I told him that he needs to find somebody that is willing to put up with him or make a change. But at the end of the day, I won't be there for either. I wished him for the best with whatever he chose to do, but I was done with him because nothing I was doing was helping him and definitely wasn't helping me. I had to step away for my own good. And something people don't talk about enough is that your circle sets your standard. The people you surround yourself with, they will directly affect how you see yourself, how you act, what you think is acceptable. And I'll give my own example. For when I was in high school, I was on the track and cross country team, and I was around a lot of people with bigger egos, most of the older kids. And without realizing it, that was starting to affect my own ego. I started becoming someone I wasn't, someone I didn't even like. I would act differently around my friends. I was being a jerk, being obnoxious, trying to uphold this image of being somebody who had it all figured out at such a young age. But I didn't have it all figured out. I was just a kid. I was just performing. And I could tell when the people who actually cared about me started pulling away that they stopped checking in. They stopped reaching out because I wasn't the same person anymore. I had to take a step back and really look at who I was becoming and what I was becoming because I didn't like what I saw. So when I came to college, I made a decision. I was going to start fresh. I realized that everyone I knew from before and everyone I thought I was close with might not be the same over my college years. And, that's okay. I was still going to put effort into them, but instead of holding on to the past, I tried to use this as an opportunity, a chance to really surround myself with people who would actually care about me, a chance to be the person I actually wanted to be. Just from day one, I made myself known as a bright, vibrant person, someone who loves talking to people, someone who's open and genuine, not someone hiding in a shell that everyone tried to lock me in my whole life. And that really changed everything for me. And what I've learned about who deserves a seat at my own table is it's not about how long you've known someone. It's not about history or convenience. It's about effort. Earning a seat at my table means you put in the effort that I put into you. You don't just need me in your life, you want me in your life. And you show it. There's nothing specific someone has to do, it's more of a realization. You can tell when someone actually wants to be in your life because they're not just asking for favors. They're not just asking to hang out when their schedule works. They're switching up their routine for you. They're doing things they wouldn't normally do because it's you. That's what a real friendship looks like. That's what earning access looks like. And I had to distance myself from one of my close friends once too. He found a leg up, starting to do better, creating something that was making him money. And suddenly he became pretty egotistical, self absorbed, hostile, judgmental. He started putting me down for no reason, trying to make me feel small. And I had to call him out. I told him I can't keep talking to him if he's going to treat me like that. Because why would I surround myself with someone who's actively trying to push me down a hole I don't want to be in? And you know what? He actually heard me out because he was actually my friend. That's the difference. A real friend will at least hear you out. They'll sit down and have that hard conversation. And we talked it out. I mean, it took effort on both sides, but he made a change and we got back to where we were before. And that's what separates real friends from everyone else. Real friends are willing to grow, willing to change, and willing to fight for a relationship instead of letting it fall apart. So if you're watching this and you know somebody in your life is holding you back, but you feel guilty about it, making a change from them, I really want you to hear this. Make that change. It's simple. This person is actively trying to hold you down. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to push forward. They don't want you to become the best version of yourself. So how can you let someone like that in your life? Someone who makes you feel small every single day. You are the owner of your own time, so cut them out of it. They aren't helping you now, and they won't help you later. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone who knows you is your friend. Not everyone who's been around for a long time has earned the right to stay. Your circle affects your mindset, your standards, and ultimately who you become. So be intentional. Look at the people around you and ask yourself, are they pushing me forward or holding me back? Do they want me to win or do they need me to stay where I am? Surround yourself with the people who care, people who show up, people who reach out, not because they need something, but because they want to be a part of your life. And let go of the rest. It's not easy, it might even hurt, but it's necessary because at the end of the day, you become who you surround yourself with. Make sure those people are worth becoming.